This is Colin O'Keefe here for LXBN TV and our affiliate Texas Bar TV here at the State Bar of Texas annual meeting. I am joined by Brad Sham, voice of the Dallas Cowboys. Brad, you're here speaking on the post-playing career life of NFL players. Tell me a bit about what you've seen there.
Well, we might get to that, Colin. We'll see. I think I also want to talk a little bit about the fact that there's not a lot of difference, not a lot of choice. There's difference. There's not a lot of choice to be made between following sports and following law. I think one of the things that I'll say is that you certainly can be an attorney without being a sports fan. But I don't know how you can be a sports fan, and I really don't know how you can be a sportscaster without having some working knowledge of some really important aspects of the law.
Okay.
I think if you go across the spectrum, you find areas that are touched directly by the law that impact the way sports fans experience the things that they do, whether it's free agency or NCAA rules. And we saw in the case of the Penn State situation where that became not just a matter of school policy, but how the law was going to treat some things. Mm-hmm. I think they're kind of inseparable.
Okay, and let me ask you about one of the biggest intersections of the law and sports, particularly the NFL right now. What are your thoughts on the head trauma and concussion litigation? Do you have any thoughts there on what's going on there?
Well, I think that I don't know facts of the case. Clearly, the league believes it's at least exposed to liability enough to affect all of the rules and equipment changes that it has. I think there is some degree of universality of opinion in the sports media community that a lot of these changes that are being instituted would not be pushed as aggressively as the NFL is pushing them if they didn't feel some extent of exposure. Now, are they as exposed as all of the former players who have become parties to the lawsuit or suits want to contend? Are they that exposed? I don't know. Maybe that'll be for a court to decide. But I think clearly the league sees some areas of weakness, and they're trying to get out in front of that. Ultimately, it'll probably be a good thing. It'll be safer. It'll be a safer sport. They've got to find a way now to balance safety with the sport that the public has enjoyed. But I think there's a big part of that chapter that's unwritten yet.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see it unfold. We hear, individuals like yourself, multiple people see the game is changing right now. And this, litigation, oddly, you mentioned you got to know a little bit about the law to know about sports. And man, when you look at the passing that league that the NFL has become, it may be directly influenced by this litigation that's going on.
Well, some of that. I mean, I think the areas that you see most directly influenced by the litigation that's pending and threatened are things like where the kickoff comes from and kickoff wedge rules and things designed. I mean, there was discussion. I'm glad they didn't do it, but there was discussion in the off season about should we give up the kickoff?
Yeah. Should
we just spot the ball at the 20 or the 25? All of that is impacted by the concern over the effects of concussions. Now, the degree to which the league has become a passing league, I see that less influenced by the concussion lawsuits and threats of them than I do by the public's appetite for more now. Offense, they're not really interested in defense. The public's not interested in 1-0 pitchers duels. They're interested in 10-9 home run slugfest. The public's not interested in a closely contested defensive basketball game. They want to see three-pointers and both teams get 100 points. And I think that they want to see the ball thrown around the field. They want to see touchdowns. Now, that may not make for better football, but I would also contend that 2 generations down the road, nobody will know the difference.
Absolutely. Once again, that was Brad Sham, voice of the Dallas Cowboys. For more of our video interviews from the State Bar of Texas annual meeting, visit us at lxbn.com and at TexasBarToday.com as well. Thank you, Brad.
Thanks, Colin.